Um, well, welcome, Delroy, to our third episode of URI Getting Started. We're very lucky.
Sir,
and
thanks for having me, man.
What I'm going to tell you now is maybe surprising to you, but you're not only one of the most athletic ever to don a Rhody blue uniform, you're the best two-way player. And I challenge any now to, who else is there? Maybe JT, maybe Tommy Garrett.
Right.
But
Well, yeah, the thing is, I truly appreciate that. And the thing with that is, like, I saw JT play, but not to the full extent of you did. So for someone that saw so much URI basketball, able to say that, man, it's a true honor.
Well, I have to bear the brunt of it when I get off this podcast, because JT is going to be calling me, telling me what's up with that. So I just speak as is. So having said that, let's go straight to the deck that has all that great information, and you seem to like it when I shared it with you. Here we go. We want to get to know Delroy James, and starting with by the numbers. You're just truly a power forward. Did you have an NBA body in high school too? I mean, 6'8", 220. You one of those guys?
Nah, not at all. I was skinny coming into URI, man. We just got after it and on campus, man. Try to work hard on my body, try to work hard in everything I do. And we did a good lifting program with Mike Montero there. And every summer I stayed back. I stayed more times. And every summer I was on campus instead of coming home, and it showed.
Yeah, I see your video highlights, so I'm just assuming, and they did a really good job with you. You're a 3-star recruit. I understand you were suited by a lot of other great teams. We're going to get into that too after a 24-1 season at Laurinburg High School. Let's look at some more of these fun facts. So it all started your sophomore year. Your freshman year was a little choppy. Didn't get to play as much as you wanted to. But if you did, I think you're in agreement with me that you would have had a lot more rankings higher up in Rhody history, top 5-ish. But there's an asterisk on there, and we understand that. But sophomore year is really where you felt your groove. But you came off the bench, and I really credit you on that. You won Atlantic 6 Man of the Year award. You know, a lot of guys would be pouting and unhappy with that role. Looks to me, 9.9 points, 6.1 rebounds, 12th in Atlantic 10. You embraced it. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure, man. I started the first 9 games of the season, and at the time, Coach Brown was like, "Hey, I think it was after the Providence game. We lost the Providence game by 2. And then it was just like, hey, I think it's best with your energy and your refocusedness to just come off the bench for us the rest of the year. And that's what I did. I came off the bench. I really credit it to him believing in me to bring more energy off the bench. And it worked. Like I played minutes like a starter, playing 25 minutes a game. And just the team, whenever I'm in the game, to bring that energy and bring that stuff, it just helped us.
So we talked about your sophomore year, and then you start to kind of blow up your junior year, not weight-wise and points. You just start getting stronger, looking at 13.2, right. Strong rebounder, combo forward, steal.
Right.
Well, let's hear about your junior year. A lot to think of.
Well, my junior year it was coming into the year. We lost great players, man. We lost Jason Francis, IMC, right, and Jimmy Barron, and me, Beef, Monty, even Marquise. We had guys coming into own that Stevie Mejia, Orion Otterbridge, Jamal Wilson, and we just knew what we had to do. So we had a good upperclassmen group coming in, and I think it was the first year, the class of 06, who was one of the best classes to come in at the time. We felt like it was our time for us to like put our imprint. And we started off hell of a year, man. I think 19-3 or 20-3, and then ended up slipping at the end, but ended up finishing 26-10. Great year for the program. And it was just a testament that from the beginning of the year, we knew that it could have been a very, very good year. Well, going into the game, it was who's coming in based on the recognition he has. He fills the stands with the NBA scouts and everybody trying to come in to watch him play. Him being one of the leading scorers in the country. Him also being a projected top 20, top 15 pick. So, he played the full position. It was my assignment. And I never get rattled about any of that type of assignment because I know who I am and who I've always been as a basketball player and willing to play the defense on both ends of the court. So defense and offense. So when he was coming in, I just tried to make it difficult for him from the beginning. And I didn't want him to come in and not have to play any defense and just relax and attack me on the offensive end. So I just knew I had to be extra focused. And then I started off, whenever you make your first shot, I think that gives you a good rhythm for the rest of the game. So I started off, I made my first shot. And then from there, I always knew even if I was missing my shots, I'd be locked in on defense. So I made my first shot. And then on defense, I was just there. I was just being active and just getting my hands on the ball and just playing tough.
Yeah. Well, was that your greatest game? Greatest moment?
No, not at all. No. Nah, not great. Individual, maybe for the moment for what it was, I guess. But I've had so much memorable games. I feel like in the URI jerseys that I would take even that same year. We had a dogfight, a game against Oklahoma State at Mohegan Sun, I believe, I think it was Mohegan Sun. It was somewhere in Connecticut. We had the game against Oklahoma State. That game, I think I loved that. But the feel of that game was crazy. We had a game, the pink out game, the year before when Marquise Jones hit a buzzer beater.
Jones in trouble in the lane with the floater, throws it up.
My greatest moment, it has nothing to really do with how I performed in the game. It was just the jubilation I felt like after the game. So those two games, like the pink out game, the Oklahoma State game, that year, the game after too, the Virginia Tech game, that win and being the number one seed in our bracket for the NIT and then catapulting us to go to the Garden, I felt even that feeling was more impressive to myself and personally than the feeling I had against Nevada.
Yeah, well, that says it about you. You're a team player. You're not trying to fill up the stats like a lot of players do, and that's obvious. You're pointing at other people who hit game-winning shots like Marquise Jones. So I credit you on that, and that's probably why the team did so well. Then we move on to the senior season, and that's when everything gelled.
This probably was my best year individually, but as a team, it probably was my hardest year as a team-wise, meaning I don't think this team was as close as any of the other team I've been on. You could have sensed the dynamic shift of, coaches leaving, coaches that recruit this type of player leaving, coaches doing that, coaches doing that. I felt that within the team concept and the team grasp. And as much as a leader, I tried to be in bringing us together and keeping all of us together. That was still pretty tough, man. Even losing losing a Jamal Wilson in the beginning of that year, he broke his foot, and then also losing a Stevie Mejia at the time, just him transferring out just right before my first day back on campus. He let it be known that he's transferring, and that hurt me to the core. I was like, damn, like that's someone that I got close with, and that's someone I knew that could keep that family feel in the locker room. And just going into that year is like, and then I didn't have my guys. I didn't have my first time not playing with Keith and Lamont, and just that feel was missing on that year on campus. It was a solid year on campus, but it was still a year where I felt like I was alone, to be honest, like to an extent.
Yeah, you seem like you really enjoyed your 4 years, players that you played with? And
Oh, of course, yeah, of course, man. It was the best times. People go to college, and some people want it to be over. But when I was there, I embraced every moment because I knew where I came from and where this could possibly lead me to. So I enjoy every aspect of being a URI student, a URI athlete, a face of URI basketball program, and just a good student on campus. I really appreciate everything about everybody down there. Just stuff like that. Just wholesome, genuine people that made me feel like I was home as soon as I got on campus, and that was dope.
Almer 15-foot back out to Delroy James, who drives over Babbitt, lays it up and in with the left hand.
I like the fact
He's the glass. He's been all over the place. And there's James throwing it down. Delroy James gets the rebound. Finds James, who has 32.
a sink. You're exactly right.
And here's James crossing over. Babbitt up and in.
For the Friars, Coleman, Council, all into the act.
James left alone, so he dunks. 80. James underneath. West off to James, still waiting to be heard from, and he is there. They wanted to travel, but no call.
Leader this year for the Friars.
Yeah, he doesn't act like a sophomore, does he?
Not at all. He plays like a really experienced veteran, and there's James coming back.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely took advantage with Delroy James on the bench. See if James can get back into the flow of this. Nice move.
He's back in the flow, but instead now it's up ahead for URI. Delroy James cutting in and around that time. Also pretty move by.
yeah, I noticed that feeling that you have, and you keep in touch with players you played with and also new players. You seem like you're kind of
I have to
together.
I have to.
Yeah.
I have to.
Well, look at this.
Yeah.
Into stats: 17.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 1.5 steals, 1 block a game. It sounds like good. Well, it was good because you were the only player in the country to average that. So
Yeah, I try to harp myself on being a versatile player, man, and in doing so, you got to versatile mean being able to do a lot of things, and I feel like I'm a student of the game. I know many things about the game. That's why, and when my career is over, I also want to give back. Like, so I keep in contact with Thor. I keep in contact with so many people because I'm never trying to close the door on my time returning to URI, and hopefully one day starting from wherever I have to start with and being at the sidelines at URI.
another fun fact: they should ask this in one of the games as a trivia question. You were the first player in URI history to get a triple-double. That says a lot.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, that's dope, man.
I didn't know
remember
that. And
I remember that.
people remember that.
I remember that game. Yeah. And the crazy thing is about that game, it was like a blizzard ridiculously outside. And so it was probably only like 1,000 or 1,100 people in the stands. I promise you, it was the least amount of game I've ever played at home with people in the stands. Like, it was so nasty outside with the weather. Everybody was down. How we lost in the second round or the first round in the tournament, Atlantic tournament. Everybody was down. And I was like, when coach said, "Hey, you guys made the CBI tournament. You want to play?" I was like, "I do. And I get to play with the guys again. I get to put on the URI uniform again. I for sure want to play. I want to continue this as long as I possibly can." And then just going into that game, that was the first game, and I was just from the get, I was energized and ready to play. And the first half, I think I had like 4 or 5 assists, and then Coach Mike LePray came up to like, "Hey, you 5 rebounds, 5 assists away," and I wasn't even like forcing myself to try to get it, but the rebounds kept coming to me, the assists came to me, and then I remember the pass I made to Marcus Jones, and then I was like, wow. And then Michael Prey pointed at me, and then he made an announcement at the first timeout. And I was like, yo, what? It's like, yeah, Delroy James, first URI ever triple-double. I was like, that's crazy, man. That's so dope. And the triple-double era, especially, and to get a triple-double in college, it also always mean more because I feel like it's harder to do.
It is.
So it was dope. It was dope.
Congratulations on that. You seem to have a special relationship with the former sports information director, Michael.
Oh yeah, Mike's. We got a sign. We do a Rockefeller sign. Mike's my guy, man. Mike's my guy. Great people, man. Just another genuine, wholesome person. But the whole media up there was dope. Mike, they had Daryl Jasper, who I got real close with. Just everybody up there, man, for real. Like I really have a genuine feeling, genuine love for most of the people that helped me through my times there.
Yeah. Look at the record books. Delroy James in the record books. We see Mr. Fats. So I understand you're friends with him. You got to know him.
Yeah. I got to know Fats a little, and he's moving out to Delaware where he's close by. Got to see him in the runs and stuff. Just trade URI stories and watch his maturations and him going into big things now at Maryland. So I'll still keep an eye on him, see what's going on.
It's just so nice to see that like living legends like yourself are still in touch with the team, and it's just like a family, extended family network.
Yeah, it gotta be, man. And the only way you keep family going by staying in touch with the past, the present, and the future. It all goes in ties with each other.
More records, minutes played, the records go on, block shots. You know, we're talking about a shortened freshman season, so these numbers would have been much higher, but they're still impressive. Points scored, 1,000-point scoring club right there. You see 19. Then we're going to go into this. This is something how do you feel about playing with Jimmy Barron? He was criticized by some. You know, we know the Keeney Blue Board. You know them. And but what do you think of him as a coach? You seem like you must have liked him too.
Yeah, I loved Coach B, man. Like I truly loved Coach B. I could never say nothing wrong about Coach Barron. He was dope, man. He was really dope. He helped me out. He gave me a scholarship offer right away. Him, Patrick Skerry, Coach Kevin Clark, Coach Patrick Clark. They saw something in me. Like, you know what I'm saying? They saw something in me. They stuck with me. And Coach B wasn't for everybody in regards of I think he's a player's coach, but he's too much of a player's coach because he gives players the full of most credit to make themselves better. He give them the little tools, the here's and there. But if you're as a player you don't want to get in the gym, you don't want to work, you don't want to do all this stuff, he don't put that much pressure on you to go get it done. Because he feel like if you want it, you'll go get it for yourself. And he never had to do that with me, Marquise Jones, Lamont Omar, Keith Cothran, because we worked. Like we got in the gym, we went to work, we wanted to do this, we wanted to do that, and all that played a part in who we became on campus.
Yeah, I think he was the most underrated recruiter. Look at the players.
Or him or his staff, right? For sure. He turned a lot of two-stars that became powerhouses in college.
Yeah, I mean, we were going through this list here, freshman year, and then you see people waiting in the wings freshman year. Will Martell, Marquise Jones, who weren't getting the playing time, and you know what they did, and the list just goes on. But he just kept. He didn't rebuild; he reloaded. So I think right here. Is it nice to see some of these names on the board, on the deck, because it's been a long time, and you really had a great team inside and out.
Yeah, for sure. It's dope to see, man. It's truly very dope to see.
Okay, and then some of the schedule that we had, looking at some of the great wins. Look at this one. Tell me about this one. 2007. You guys beat Providence 77-60. What is that? 17 points.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah, you know what's crazy about that game? I wasn't there for that game or the Syracuse game. That was the time I was serving a suspension. I wasn't there. I came that season at the end of December. I came back on the team at the end of December. So I missed that half of the whole non-conference schedule of that game.
Well,
yeah. So from November 9th, my first game that year was Saturday, December 22nd against Hofstra. That was my first game in a URI uniform. So I missed the first 11 games of my freshman year.
And then we see here there was a little bit of a swoon starting in February 13th. It looked like you were locked in, a short thing for NCAA. What happened there? I mean,
we were for sure locked. Yeah, we really just succumbed. We just was losing close games after close games, and it was terrible, man. I honestly don't even, that end of that was terrible. It's crazy because at that time, the slipping, I was elevating my play, getting more time, getting more minutes. Coaches starting to believe in me more.
Some people are holding Barron responsible for that and not finishing it up, the killer instinct. What do you say about that?
But I don't, this is the thing when people think about that. When we're winning, you don't hear as much praise for him. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Than when we're losing. So it goes hand in hand to me. Of course, every pieces of the puzzle, everybody that has a jersey on, everybody that have put the team together, they have a part and to blame 100%, as they also have a part to win. When we win, they have a part for that also. So, of course, Coach B could be to blame for some, but for all, no, it's the players, myself, Keith, Lamont, Jimmy, Will Daniels, all of us. We knew what we had to do to continue winning. We did it. We did it at a high clip. We could, whatever happened, it's also on us as much as on them. And I always and truly believe that you could never look in the mirror and not blame yourself first when something is so much is collapsing. It's like a domino effect. Every part of the domino falls, just like everyone rises. So it's never. I've never ever said it's just Coach Barron. People could take that. Everyone needed a scapegoat though, and that's what normally would happen. They would look at the head of the snake first.
Look at this Duke game. You lost by 3 points. Some of the fans in Keeney Blue were thinking, would you have liked to take the last shot, maybe take it to the hole, get in a foul, and hit it?
The thing is, that's what's crazy with that. And honestly, with that game, I thought we had that game won. After the shot, I got the rebound and I got fouled, and I made them 2 free throws. But then the ref, they called a crazy call out. Good defense on Kyle Singler. And the last shot was dropped for Jimmy. Jimmy had one of the most memorable half in the second half against Duke. So coach went to him. No one hung their head. No one said nothing. All right, let's get it. Everybody played it, fall into line. Could I have got the ball and maybe dropped to the basket? Of course, but we went with a great option as well. I never thought of that, though.
Yeah, well, they do. The fans think of everything.
Oh, okay.
And you beat Temple, further along before you, it took Lamar Odom a 3-pointer to beat Temple. You guys took them by 8 points. So you've had some really good wins. What were those Providence games like? Some people feel like they were better than more fanfare than they did.
Maybe they were historic. There was historic, man. It was, you felt the energy there in the Dunkin' Donuts Center or in the Center. You just felt it. You felt like everybody's watching this game. You wanted to be a part of this game. You wanted to win this game. And my first time playing at the Dunk, we lost by 2, one of the great games. And then my second year, we won at the Ryan Center. We were down at halftime by 16 points.
Wow.
16 points. And second half just went on a crazy, crazy run. Came back and took that game. And it was the fans, the energy. It was crazy. Even that game I put over the Duke bag the game as I'm thinking now. That feeling that like, what, man? It was, Ryan Center was rocking. Like totally rocking. I guess, yeah, exactly. I guess my feelings for games is not based on my performance. It's based on how the fans made me feel. As much as the Luke Bag game performance-wise was dope, the fans, it was a lot of people there, but the feel of the disappointment of us not making the tournament was still in people's mind. So I guess it wasn't the energy from the fans given to me wasn't as normal as it usually be. Like if that game wasn't a setting of where the fans wasn't disappointed, where we just got out of not making it to the NCAAs, I think that could have been the number one. But the fans just give me such feeling of like, let's go. I think that's what makes the chills more.
Over
to
on
the
the
core.
bottom, I don't want to be a bummer, but it is something that happened. The trip game, I call it, not the trap game. What was the call?
Yeah, that game.
Was it a
Yeah,
fair?
it was for sure a foul. And I really don't watch that game over because I shot those two free throws as calm and cool and collected as I normally am at the line, and they both missed. And those free throws changed lives, like going to play in the championship back at the Garden, et cetera, et cetera. It was a hell of a game, and Monty for sure got fouled, but sometimes you got to bite the bullet, and we bit the bullet then.
Well, I admire you for talking about that. I wasn't going to bring that up, but just taking the good and the bad says a lot about you. And then
Always.
it really does. And a lot of people forgot about those foul shots. They just remember the trip.
Yeah, I never forget about it. The foul shot got us to this trip. Always the first step.
Pressure decisions during non-pressure times of the year with our staff. You already haven't figured out what you want to do right now.
Shot clock is now under 10.
Oh, that travel. They may have. And the three.
Got the shot away. Wouldn't go. Tipped up.
That
comes down to Rhody.
That should be a
lose
foul.
the ball.
I think the Graves trip him. The rule is even an inadvertent trip has got to be called a foul. That's his point of emphasis this season.
He got him too. I think with the hand almost.
Yep. And I know it looks inadvertent, but the rule clearly this year, point of emphasis, if an offensive player is tripped, even inadvertently, it must be called a foul.
Let's take a look at it again, guys. And
Billy, this is why I would foul early, because watch this loose ball.
This is one you got to get.
Yeah, the shot goes up with 6, but because it's knocked around, now watch, there's a trip right
got
there.
His hand, oh my goodness.
Yep. You know, you have to be on that if you're the official.
The lead officials is turning to run, Fran.
Yep.
And, you know, it's from
It's the
behind.
back guy.
Yeah,
it's the back guy.
Yep.
Let's go to another area of your life after post URI. Look at these places you've been. I think I read in the Daily News the other day, you were in 15 teams in 10 years. You were called a global explorer, UN ambassador.
Yeah.
What was that like, that experience of being, besides just the basketball, but just being in those places so many people would love to be, except for one place you went to, I wouldn't want to be there, was Siberia. You were in Siberia?
Actually, that's one of my favorite places, man. The city there is a big city. A lot of people love their basketball. It's pretty cold outside, but for what you did for the feel of just the game, you love it. And that's the thing with me. I really could play basketball anywhere. Once the respect of the game and the respect from the people is there, I'm good. I'm good with it.
Yeah.
We're on the verge of double overtime. Barlow. James goes in the lane. Oh, he puts it over Bramos with 2 seconds remaining.
Time. They don't need the 3. Get a score.
Oh, he just blocked. Shirley. Steps out, but good defense again from Billan. Here comes James to the hoop and slams it through with no help. Look at this, Billan came out too far this time, and James made him pay with a big slam dunk.
Uses the screen, kicks it out. James, tough 3, gets it to go. Delroy James doesn't make them the easy way, does he?
Well, honestly, going into the summer of 2005, no one really knew who I was, so I just was playing on the AU circuit. And I'm just really playing the game I love and just playing. And then letters started coming in. Then I got on the phone with Coach Scary. They were also recruiting up one of my good friends at the time, Ruben Galindo, who ended up going to LaSalle, went to St. Patrick High School. So at the time, I'm looking at schools. I'm just looking around. And when Coach Scary called me, just the phone conversation we would have and the feel of the game, I'm like, oh, nah, I want to play there. Like, so I committed before I visited, before anything, just because Rhode Island, it just worked. So I committed, took an unofficial, talked to Coach Barron, get my stuff in order, and I was locked in to come. And so then I ended up going to Laurinburg Institute at the time, who my coach at the time for Laurinburg Institute was also assistant for URI basketball in the past. His name was Billy Reed. So he was my head coach there. So he created a good dominant schedule for us to play against the top prep schools in the country. We ended up finishing 25 or 24-1, and was the 5th best prep school team in the country. So playing with those type of guys and that type of talent, I will tell you, every coach most of the high majors was at our practices, from the Tennessees to the Georgias to the Kentuckys to the Miami. So at that time, and I'm playing the freest at the time because I'm already committed. I'm already signed. I know I'm going. So I'm just in practice hooping, like playing and playing and playing. And that's when at the time, Miami and Kentucky really came like, yo, if you could get out your commitment, we'll sign you. We'll take, like, we for sure will give you a scholarship. We want you, etc. And I remember I called Coach Scary. I was like, yo, what happens if I want to back out and not sign? He said, you're coming around, and hung up the phone. And then that was it. I didn't even think it over. It was just, people was getting in my mind. It was just a quick thought, but I knew where my heart was, because even I knew I was playing that well in all those pickup games. It was so crazy how well I felt I was playing to them teams to want to offer me a scholarship. I would get an argument with my teammates on prep school because one of them felt like I was trying to steal shine. Like, yo, they was like, yo, you already committed. Why are you? I'm like, bro, I'm just hooping. I'm literally just hooping. Like, that's what I'm just hooping. So, yeah, man, that was that. But it all a part of this journey. That's what I say to that. All a part of the journey.
Here's one. You're a unicorn, which is a good thing. Who do you compare yourself in the NBA to, and why? If there's one.
Well, I would have to say Lamar Odom, just being the versatility of putting the ball on the floor, being able to score, playing defense, and et cetera, et cetera. That's the person I would probably have to say.
Oh, that's a compliment.
And he went to Rhody, so that helps.
Does he know that? He should know that, I think. I feel like he should know that.
Yeah, I met him a couple times. I met Cappuccino Mobley once or twice. And yeah, he was at a Gersh game, a game in the park of New York City. So I don't think it's something he would by himself fully remember, but we've met before.
And what's your relationship with, if you have one, with Dan Hurley and David Cox in the new era of Rhody basketball?
Well, me and Coach Hurley got pretty close. I used to come up and talk at his camp on campus. And his first year there, he reached out and called me in his office. We had conversations for sure. Still talk to Coach Hurley to this day. And Mr. Cox, I've never met before. I've never met Mr. Cox before. I still would like to do that and get in talks with him, but I haven't met him before. The thing is about how I love Coach Barron. I always tell people, if Coach Hurley was our coach my last junior and senior year, everybody's career would have been better at URI, not because of the players, but because of Coach Hurley. Coach Barron worked for me and many other players, but for some players he didn't, because they needed a coach to yell at them, not even yell at them, a coach to just put more fire under them, which I don't think is necessarily always correct. But if you have half of the team that wants to work, and then you just have to coach the other half, then that's a full. Instead of you having 7 that wants to work and 3 just like, they need someone to yell at them and do all this, and that person is not Coach Barron to yell at you all the time to do this and do that. So if we had like a Coach Hurley who has 7 guys locked in and ready, and then the other 4, he's gonna really still yell at those other 4 while continuing yelling at the 7 and also building it up. And that probably would have helped us more, instead of a full unit, instead of like an 8-12 on the same page.
Yeah, I'm sure this year you're going to meet Coach Cox. He's a great guy, and you talk about someone who.
Yeah, hopefully. I heard great things about him.
And the team, what do you think about this team this year, Rhode Island? Are you?
I don't really. I really don't know much. I just know about the Ish. I know Ish is pretty talented, and I think that's a kid coming back. But for the most part, I really don't know much. When the season started, COVID was just a year where it was like hard to really manifest anything. So when the season started back, I think I'll get back in the full loop of understanding everyone.
Jeremy Shepard's another one you think about.
Yep.
How close were you to being drafted in the NBA? I saw you in a lot of summer camps and just curious.
Yeah, I had a lot of workouts in summer league. That's where the political side of things came. I had 13 or 14 workouts coming out. I went to all the combines, did great. Went to Portsmouth, made an all-tournament team in Portsmouth, Jersey Combine, had a hell of a combine there. It's just based on a team that likes you, that fully likes you, and not look at your harp on your negatives or what they say you can't do, instead of them thinking, hey, he could do all these other things very well though, when we could work on that. So if a team, that was that though. But till this day, I truly and wholeheartedly believe I was an NBA player, and I would always believe that.
Well, there's two sides to Delroy James. There's the basketball ultra competitive star player, and then there's the dad. You said that's the most rewarding thing for your son, Jalen, 10-year-old son. How do you balance being a professional player and also a dad? It seems.
Well, it's hard. It's hard, being away from him, and that's what you have to credit the people that he's always around, that's taking care of him and all that stuff. But he's really my biggest accomplishment because of the minimal stuff, that him being autistic and him fighting a cause that's bigger than anything that I know I would ever have to go through, and him attacking it hands on, him waking up smiling, him waking up ready to seize the day, not even knowing his own limitation, but just getting ready to become better every day. And I seeing that, and me trying to help and manifest my work ethic into that was always dope.
Does he do some things that mesmerize you? Their autistic kids have intelligence.
Yeah, just him, everything, literally everything. Just his jokes, the way he talks, just every little thing. Just like, man, you just you, and I love it all.
And tell me about your work for autism. Are you doing stuff with the WORC Autism Center?
Yeah, Life Work Autism. We're gonna play in the TBT tournament on July 25th in Chicago. It's just to bring awareness for the autism and hopefully get some wins and hopefully make it to the championship game.
I'm aware of the time, Delroy. Just one more thing. How do you feel about that $1 million tourney game? 64 teams. You want that piece of that $1 million?
That's why we in it. Yeah, that's why we're in it. Everybody wants a piece of that. So we're going to just fight to get it, and hopefully we come home with the trophy.
I'm going to look for some tape on that and share it with Rhody Nation. Finally,
okay.
What's next for Delroy James? Chapter 3.
Haven't decided yet, but continue playing basketball. I work hard on my body, keep my body in shape, just to try to continue to compete at a high level, and hopefully make other people proud that supported me from day one.
Well, Delroy, I could talk to you for another hour, but that wouldn't be good for you and your family keeping you. But there's so much to talk about. But thanks so much for coming in today. And I'd look forward to seeing you at the games this year. And you just
I appreciate you, sir.
You're one of the great ones, Delroy.
Thank you, man. Stay blessed, and thank you for having me.
Okay. Have a great day.
Have a good one.